Hello and welcome to Opening Arguments. This is Vapid Response number 40. We're the show that breaks down the law and the news, but today we're doing something a little different. We need to don our funeral attire because it's the end of an era. It's the Douthat era. It's the end of the Douthat era. Ross Douthat, as Lydia apparently thought is how it was pronounced. And now is how it's pronounced.
Yes.
Is no longer going to be at the New York Times. We've got to talk about it. He's had so many great takes throughout the years. We've covered him several times on here, but deserves extra coverage. But I'm Thomas. That over there is real-life immigration attorney Matt Cameron. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, guys. Just biding my time until Bari Weiss picks me up for CBS. So don't mind me.
Oh, okay. So you're doing a turn to conservatism that we don't know about? All right.
Selling out.
Yeah, you can't. She's not. What would she? What use would she have for a liberal who deals in facts? That's not. It's not. Her
That's
shtick.
true. That's true. I got to make some money somewhere, sometime. We'll figure it out.
Get on that grift train.
I mean, if they're going to pick up Ross Douthat, they can pick me up too. Why not?
Yeah. I could be as wrong for the left as he is for the right. Like I could.
I'll be wrong for less. I can charge less. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. God, who knows how much money that guy makes, especially there.
Yeah.
And producer Lydia, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I expected Douthat to go over there. Like, that makes sense to me. But then I saw Gianna Taboni is going over there too. And like, that was a little like rough for my heart. But, you know, I'm still a supporter of hers. We'll see. We'll see how things go.
I think people should just not. Like, I get that's probably a huge opportunity. That's the thing. It's hard because capitalism, and not just capitalism, also just, you know, careerism and totally normal, like, aspirations and all that people are going to have. There's going to be people who are like legitimate, but haven't gotten like enough attention or money or notoriety or whatever, who are like right in that prime range for CBS, you know, the new bullshit CBS to grab for 60 Minutes. And man, Gianna Taboni is right there. That's exactly. I really liked her work back when Weiss was like watchable, that show.
Yeah, like a real thing, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. Did it come back around or is it still terrible? I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't keep track anymore.
That Gavin guy's not affiliated with them anymore.
I still out of habit will click on the Atlantic and then be like, wait, what am I doing? There's no Atlantic anymore. I thought it used to be like, oh, they have one bad person or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it's like half and half. Now I don't know that any of it's good anymore on the Atlantic. Am I crazy? I just like, doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I think the proportion has changed over the years. That's for sure.
We have a lot of Douthat to doot. We got to doot.
Everyone grab your Dout hats.
Toot our horns, but we're going to doot our hats.
Like literally pick
Yeah,
them.
exactly. We should have come up with
Oh,
Dout
and it
hats.
just says Dout on it. Okay, I'm making
the most
that.
pointless, unrelated to us merch. And also there's no market for it. Like there's no market for Douthat fan. Like there's no, but I love it.
Listeners, sound off. I know you guys want this. Let me know.
I don't even know what the market is for the man himself. So
that's what I'm saying. Like there's not even a legitimate Douthat merch market. It's not even an ironic Douthat merch.
All right. I'll make one hat. I'll make one and it'll be for me.
He's not like Jimothy levels of weird,
true.
you know. He's
That's
like
true.
He's in that bad, just middle nothing level, which maybe makes it funny enough to justify a Douthat. All right, well, Lydia's gone for the episode.
I'm making it.
Good thing we've got a
I'm
real
going to pull out like my
bring us back
embroidery
in.
machine right now. Just start working on it. Oh, boy.
Funny. It's Douthat, right? But it's fine.
Who knows? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. They still don't know. All right, we've got a lot of Doots to hat or hats to doot. We got so many. It's amazing how many. I don't know that I'm going to say he's always completely full shit or anything, but like just looking at the headlines or whatever, the titles of the opinion pieces, which I know they don't always choose or almost never choose maybe, but looking at them tells a pretty funny story when you look at them in the right combinations, and we're gonna do some
eye rolling.
A Douthat retrospective. All right, well, we'll do what we always do here, which is take our first break, but I want to thank our Hall of Fame patrons. These are the folks that pledge at that $5 level and above at patreon.com/law for at least a month. They make the show happen, and they get a special shout out on every Vapid Response, starting with thank you to Dylan Love, Rebecca, Bewitched, Beclowned, Bewildered, My House is a Mess, but I Read a Lot of Books, Griff, the Tired 1L, Matthew Cutler, autistic streamer, twitch.tv/MTC streams. Gary the Seagull, Ingiram Imus Nocti et Consimmer Igni.
Wow. Making you Latin now.
I actually thought it's
Is it?
partially a palindrome, but not. Or is it
palindrome?
Maybe the whole thing's
I have
a palindrome.
no idea.
I don't know if they started with like a legitimate thing and then like just reversed it in the middle. Because I don't know. Anyway, Unremarkable, Amina, Donna Treadaway, Mother of Herodins, Mike Lipinski, a butt tuba. That's a good one. Always count on that patron for the quick and to the point.
A butt tuba.
A butt tuba. Why have I never heard that palindrome? That's better than, race car or anything like that.
Yeah.
A butt tuba. Cyanitis. Not yet 40. Oh, rub it in.
Oh.
Rub it in, why don't you?
I'm also not 40.
Oh, God.
So.
These
These old guys.
Brave preponderance of the evidence. Last train to Skanksville. Jar is prune dance. That's not a palindrome, but jar is prune
They're just trying to
dance.
make you say insane things.
I'm just having a stroke, yeah. Apprentice of Adventure, and Charlie Kelly, attorney at Bird Law. Thank you so much. Top patrons. We'll take that quick break. Avoid the ads. Patreon.com/law. A lot of movies probably coming up not super soon, but you still have the last one to listen to.
Yeah, we're about to record on that one, though. So.
Yeah. Oh, man, we're doing that. We're doing that every month.
Yep.
It's so fun. Those are so funny. And the book club. So many good reasons.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a break and then get into all the dudes that are hat with Ross Douthat. All right, I lied. We have a quick amuse douche. I forgot. I got so excited about Dude Hat. I forgot the amuse douche. And this video has no full screen format that we can find, so apologies.
Multiple amuse douches within this little clip.
This is an historic moment, and they appear to only have cell phone captures from bad angles. That's all I could find in YouTube.
I love how
Shorts.
Lincoln is just looking down, just like, oh, God.
Washington too. Yeah.
Right.
Washington can't even look at it. He's
the sculpture of Lincoln, is literally his head is bowed.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
See that? That's
Jesus Christ, what are you guys doing? I fought a war over all this. We're letting them back in.
Yeah. So this is, of course, a double douche with Emile Beauvais swearing in Todd Blanche. And I probably still did not pronounce
personal
that name right.
lawyers.
Yeah.
One swearing in the other.
Wow.
Two people we had a lot of fun with on Gavel Gavel for like a year. Two people that we never thought we'd have to talk about again. And now we have a Third Circuit judge and the new Attorney General of the United States. Thanks to the moves that we talked about on Friday that he pulled with Cornyn and Senate Judiciary to just put out a lot of nothing to make them think that the slush fund wasn't coming back. Actually, within hours of the swearing in, he put out a memo, which we'll talk about on Friday's opening arguments. But let's take a look at this, just because this is a moment of history. It's not good history, but it's history.
I like the little modesty curtain on the...
Yeah.
What is that? That's a declaration.
Maybe? Yeah, it might be.
It doesn't look like it.
Oh,
okay, zoom in, zooms out. That's a cool thing about today's technology.
Do they close it when the sun gets in or something? Like,
or when he just doesn't want to have to look at it.
When the sun gets in. Yeah, it's when he's going to do something extra illegal. He's like, oh.
The founding fathers can't see this.
It's like the old sitcom thing where you take the picture and like put it down. Like when you
exactly. You're having an affair. Yeah.
It's like, hold on, don't look. Constitution or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the Constitution. Oh, no, the signatures. Yeah, no, maybe it is
like
the Declaration. Okay, yeah. So then,
why is
there a little curtain? There's a little curtain in front of it that you can open and close, just like give it some sun.
Like a puppet show.
They probably should have closed it for this one.
Yeah.
God, seriously.
For a document that doesn't want a king, here are two people that would love to have a king.
Oh, man. Anyway, all right, let's
give a quick look here.
These assholes.
The office of which I'm about to enter. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
And we got a hug. They're huggers. Blanche and Beauvais. And he starts speaking, and they cut it off.
Oh, wow.
He's about to talk, and she's like, and you said there was like no other...
His remarks. Yeah,
wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And this is a cell phone video. It doesn't seem like it's even like there's press lit in. I think that somebody was just taking out a cell phone. So that's about the level of historic achievement and recording that deserves, I guess.
Losers.
Yeah. So Blanche and Beauvais.
God, that is criminals swearing in criminals.
Yeah.
Yep.
To the top anti-criminal position in the country. Awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
To protect chief criminal.
Yeah. Man, what a world. What a world. All right. Well, we'd better close the curtain on that declaration. It's so weird. I'm sure that existed pre-Trump, but if it didn't, that's even funnier.
Yeah,
but I don't
but why?
Little curtain.
But why?
Yeah, it's just like I get like it looks nice, but why would you need?
Does it look nice? I don't think.
Is it like the?
So.
That's not like the original. Like it's so sensitive. They're like, oh, they can't get.
That's in the National Archives. I've seen the original.
Yeah,
that's when Nicolas Cage steals.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen that. I do know that history. Yes.
So whenever Nick Cage comes to visit, like hide it. He'll just think it's
That's
a window.
What the curtain is for. Exactly.
I just got the curtains down because it's a little sunny today. I didn't want to get. All right, let's get to our dude hat. We're gonna go back to almost the very beginning. Is this his first column? It's got to be close.
It's up there. Yeah, he began at the New York Times 17 years ago in 2009. I didn't realize it went back that far.
Wow.
Young, fresh-faced Ross Douthat. He's actually my age. He's 46 years old, and he's from Connecticut. He's going to talk about how he lives in a hellish blue state in one of these columns, and that's Connecticut. That's what he's talking about. But he is a contrarian Republican from a family of Democrats. He's one of those Michael P. Keaton type. No, Michael. What's his name? The Michael J. Fox guy. Alex Keaton. Alex P. Keaton.
Yeah,
there we go. He's that guy.
Well, you're aging better than he is.
The Michael J. Fox guy, Alex P.
Keaton from what's the name of that? I'm sure listeners are screaming it right now.
All in the Family, not All in the Family. It's
I'm so confused.
I don't remember the name of the show either.
It's a show.
Yeah,
it was a show.
Sorry, it's just something I don't know. Then
it was Michael J. Fox's breakthrough, where he's playing like a young conservative kid in a liberal family.
Yeah.
I never really saw it. So anyway, he was Ross Douthat went to Harvard. He's always been a serious Catholic, and he's always enjoyed being a contrarian. And for those who haven't had the pleasure, you're going to get a taste today. Just kind of a sampling, or just some drive-by readings of some of his worst work. Now, again, you can't be a columnist for 17 years and not have some stinkers, obviously. There were a lot more I could have picked from. I just kind of picked a swath of some of my favorites that I remembered. I looked up and kind of went by topic and tried to find some other things as well. But his entire deal throughout his entire career has been, I'm just trying to be the reasonable guy here. I'm just, trying to be in the middle. I'm not defending Trump, but maybe I'm kind of defending Trump, and maybe things aren't that bad. Maybe you guys are overdoing it over and over and over again.
Boy, that just made me realize more of his career has been during Trump era than not.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow.
I mean, quite a lot of it.
That's true of all of us, really.
Yeah.
It just never ends.
8 out of 17 years. Yeah. Or not
never.
8, but a lot of them. Yeah.
We're like 10 now.
Well, yeah, sure. We've had to deal with Trump for 10 years. He's been writing about Trump for 10 years, certainly.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to note, we mentioned, of course, up top that the reason we're doing this is because he's just retiring. We're going to read at the very end his New York Times farewell column. He's moving on to CBS News. And I just saw that he might be one of the top 25 richest writers in the country after this CBS hire. So,
really?
Wow.
Yeah, this is not a meritocracy.
Well, the Ellisons have so much money, so of course, yeah.
And he's a big name. Also, I thought it was pretty funny that Bari Weiss had said before this hire that she was looking for the most photogenic men she could find on camera.
Ew, really?
Yeah. So no comment. We'll move on from that comment. But yeah,
I don't need to move on from that. We can take a quick minute.
Yikes! Too much on Wix, but
oh my God, what a stupid thing.
That's so dumb.
It's like you can't. Again, I think it's more of why he's even here to begin with. They decided they needed more conservative columnists.
Mm-hmm.
They hire Ross Douthat when he's really young, pretty young,
29.
And
it's pretty young.
He represents an area of like conceptual space that no one else is in. Like it's like an intellectual right-wingedness. Like I believe that he believes most of what he says, maybe, but it's like nobody else does. Like it's so when Bari Weiss is probably looking around trying to find like who's the right-wing 60 Minutes correspondent that you're gonna find that isn't like fucking Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Like you can't. So once again, insane, you're like, okay, well, I guess I have to find who's like the most conservative person who could still like do the job, like be a functional journalist of some kind,
and not go full MAGA.
Once again,
you can't go full MAGA.
Yeah, it's because you can't. It wouldn't work. You can't do like the way that MAGA journalism survives is not actually doing anything like talking to sources or interviewing, like stuff that 60 Minutes still is going to do, even if it's going to be skewed and all that. Like they still want to be taken seriously. The bones of journalism, I think, unless at least for a while, we'll see. But that's why, once again, Ross Douthat. someone that nobody listens to. Anyway, so weird. What do we want to read from this one? I don't know what a minaret moment is. Sorry, I don't know what that is.
Well, this is probably one he'd prefer you forget about, but this is some of his early work here from 2009 when he started the paper. So he was talking, this is some straight up Islamophobia about European migrants way before it was cool to do this. He also had another column called
cool to do it, to be honest with you. We had 9/11 and it was all Islamophobia for all of then until
That's true.
Like
That's
5
true.
minutes ago. That's still
he had another one called Slouching Toward Eurabia, which I was tempted to also include.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really? He wrote one with that title?
Slouching Toward Eurabia.
Holy crap.
Same idea. We don't need to read a bunch of Islamophobia into the record.
Jeez.
Well, that was actually like a column about his column. He had like a blog going about his column, so not really the same thing. But we're trying to feature his New York Times work here, his long pedigree of New York Times work. Take a look at, just to let's get a taste of this. Let's pick it up at Millions of Muslims. Always a good place to start a sentence.
Millions of Muslims have accepted European norms, but millions have not. This means polygamy in Sweden, radical mosques in Britain's fading industrial cities, riots over affronts to the Prophet Muhammad in Denmark, and religiously inspired murder in the Netherlands. It means terrorism and the threat of terrorism from London to Madrid. And it means a rising backlash in which European voters support extreme measures and extremist parties because their politicians don't seem to have anything to say about the problem.
Well, I guess he's right about that.
It's always one of my favorite arguments, though, is that letting migrants in is going to cause more fascism because I agree with the fascists. The people that I agree with.
If you let them in, I'm going to do really bad things, and that's not my fault. Somehow that's your fault.
Some other people will do it, but I'll agree with them. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We go down to even a decadent West.
But even a decadent West is probably stronger than this. The most likely scenario for Europe isn't dimitude. It's a long period of tension punctuated by spasms of violence that makes the continent a more unpleasant place without fundamentally transforming it. This is cold comfort, though, if you have to live under the shadow of violence. Just ask the Swiss, who spent last week worrying about the possibility that the minaret vote might make them a target for Islamist terrorism.
What is a minaret vote?
It's from the beginning of the article. It seems like they were voting whether or not to ban the building of minarets. And they're basically like towers. They're just, really
where they do the call for prayer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I know that it was actually incorporated in my alma mater, my college's campus. I don't remember why.
Lydia's a radical Muslim. I forgot if you said that before.
University of Tampa. Yeah. Everybody from Tampa is radical Muslim.
Really into Sharia law.
Sure.
We practice Sharia law here.
They're beautiful, though.
But the Swiss have never been particularly liberal. They kind of get a pass on all this stuff for some reason, but they've been, that they only gave the women the right to vote in the 70s? Like they were one of the last countries on earth to give women the right to vote. Yeah. It was a closer vote than you might think too. But yeah, so here's just a little taste of, just straight up, Europe's going to burn to the ground because they're letting in too many Muslims. He's always kind of getting up to the point of actually supporting right-wing extremism, but he never actually supports it. But the problem always is the left. And in any given Ross Douthat opinion or column or anything else, and you're going to see this theme develop as we go through some of these other pieces, he never can recognize the problem on the right. It just never. Like, Trump is an issue, but he's not really a problem, and he's under control.
They're just reacting to the left. They're reacting to the stuff that the left has started.
Yeah, I mean, he's priced into it. He has to keep his job. I don't think he's a fan of Trump. Like, I really don't.
No,
but he has to the market for anti-left is ubiquitous. Like, there's always a market for anti-left, up and down. The right loves it. The left loves it. The middle loves it. Everybody loves it. That's why it's just anyway. So it's always like just diverting and focusing the attention elsewhere. But he's anti-Trump. He's not in favor of Trump, and he does, he does speak about him thusly, but anyway.
But he's never seen it as a crisis. And then we'll see this all the way through. He's never seen he's never wanted to see the full crisis of Trump, but he doesn't support him.
Interesting.
So he's got that going for him. What's next in our lineup here?
All right, we're just going in chronological order of the ones you found.
Through the career, yeah.
With the picture, I thought it was going to be about gay marriage or something, but it's actually, those are just two Trumpers, or?
Yeah, they
does look like a wedding. Are
Confessions
they
of a
actually just
columnist.
two Trumpers?
They're looking really fondly at each other, and they're well dressed.
But they
have Trump stuff on them.
If they're not a couple, maybe they should be. They look kind of
good together.
That's true. They'd be a good couple.
Yeah.
Let's read a bit of
Confessions
this.
of a columnist. Okay. Yeah. Every New Year's, in a spirit of self-examination, I try to catalog my worst blunders from the preceding year.
Through all of those each year.
But this year, like almost every pundit in America, I have one mistake that overshadows all the others. One confession that makes my other faults seem venial by comparison. I underestimated Donald Trump. To really make a clean breast on this issue, I have to reach back earlier than 2015, some forecasts take more than a year to be disproven, to a column I wrote in the far-off days of the 2012 campaign when Mitt Romney flew to Vegas, to accept an endorsement from the Donald.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Huh. In 2012? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Yeah,
I don't think I would
lost
have
to history now.
Yeah, so interesting. In Vegas? Why is he? Oh, whatever.
This struck me at the time as a needless move by Mitt because it left him sticky with the tar of Trump's birther nonsense while delivering little in return. The idea that Romney needed the kind of voters excited by Trump's flamethrower style, I wrote, confused, quote, the existence of a fan base, which Trump certainly has, with the existence of a meaningful constituency, which he almost certainly does not. And even if there were real Trumpistas, Romney would win their allegiance eventually. Quote, anyone who thrills to Trump's slashing attacks on the president probably isn't sitting this election out. As a third-party candidate, I went on, Trump might pose some danger to Romney's general election chances, but Trump's, quote, third-party rumblings are like his birther bluster, sound and fury, signifying only ego. And Romney would risk little with conservatives by giving him the stiff arm. Quote, Trump isn't Rush Limbaugh or Sarah Palin. His conservatism is feigned. His right-wing fans are temporary admirers with no deep commitment to his brand or cause. Ooh, that did not age well. And hardly anyone in the conservative media is likely to rise to his defense.
I don't know. Like, I don't think he was that wrong in 2012. Like, it's kind of like, again, this is what happens when, like, almost this process, and a lot of people did this, obviously, with the very thing he's doing in 2016. But I think this is almost overcorrecting the other way. Like, by being like, well, I underestimated him. Well, yes and no. Like, you also... Like, there was a lot of things that went into it. We talk about it all the time. The primary system on the right, like, it made it so that somebody with a little bit of support, if they won a primary would grab such a hold of winner-take-all primaries.
Yeah.
You know, they would get such a lead that it would be harder and harder to beat. It's also like, it's always been like, if it was true in 2016, and it was, that his dieharders there weren't that many at the time. He definitely had some, but he had to take over the whole party. That didn't happen right away. I think people
that's fair.
Maybe apply the current now to like back then, but it was a process. And in 2012, certainly, I don't think it was crazy. I don't think this is crazy at all. Like, I think this take in if he's saying he wrote this in 2012, I don't know. I don't think it's that wrong. But now to be in 2016, to have him kind of almost overcorrecting to say, actually, there's so much more to it. I don't know if that's true, actually. Like, maybe that's a way of almost like over signaling the other way. I don't know.
But there is an ongoing theme with him where he just refuses to believe that anybody could actually get behind Trump and that it could ever happen, or that, that he would have like a deep fan base eventually. Because of course, once he really gets going with these rallies, he gets an incredibly huge fan base, which turns things. And if you go down to the bottom, though, it's kind of the ending that I wanted to focus on. He's being reasonably honest about his mistakes here, but I'm very surprised.
I am very surprised, though, that Trump himself would have the political savvy.
Go one paragraph before that.
I know. I saw that sentence, too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I certainly overestimated poor Jeb Bush. Please clap. Whom I wrongly predicted would profit from Trump's rise. But for the rest, no, I had a pretty low opinion of the right-wing entertainment complex to begin with, and I'm not remotely surprised that the white working class would rally to a candidate running on populist and nationalist themes.
Got you there.
I am very surprised, though, that Trump himself would have the political savvy, the, in parentheses, relative discipline, and yes, the stamina required to exploit that opening and become that populist. And for that failure of imagination, I humbly repent. Of course, I'm not completely humbled. Indeed, I'm still proud enough to continue predicting, in defiance of national polling, that there's still no way, in italics, that Trump will actually be the 2016 Republican nominee. Trust me, I'm a pundit. And I'll see you in the confessional next year.
I predicted the same thing. I'm not going to go around pretending.
I think everybody did, yeah.
Sure.
Most people. I still... And then it was like, okay, I guess he could win that ridiculous circus, but there's no way he'll win the general. And there were a few people who predicted he would, but not so many as who say they did at the time.
Sure. No
There's
doubt,
a reason it was a massive upset and everyone was stunned.
Shocked.
But it's pretty easy to be like, in retrospect, well, maybe I said something that suggested I might have thought he could have maybe, and then point to that as the only thing you look at. But no, people didn't think he was going to win. So
no, for
I
sure.
don't know. I had the same take.
I just wanted to include this because he constantly underestimates Trump thoroughly every time all the way through. We're going to see more of this.
How Donald Trump loses. Okay.
Tell me more.
Okay, so we're still pre-Republican nomination.
Yeah, July 7th, 2016, but we're getting closer.
Donald Trump isn't going to be the Republican nominee. 6 months ago, that was a truism. 3 months ago, it was the conventional wisdom. Now it's an assertion that inspires sympathetic glances, the kind you get when you tell friends that you think your new personal investment strategy is sure to beat the market.
Hey, man, I'm right. Like this was everybody. This was me. I also thought this. So I'm not gonna join in like a retelling of our history, and that's kind of funny. I like that paragraph, honestly.
I know you really want that to be true, the glances say, but you just might be kidding yourself.
Yeah.
It's easy to see why people are starting to think this way. Trump has led the national poll since last summer, and not by a little. Apart from the Ben Carson bubble, I don't remember a Ben Carson bubble. That's
God,
so funny.
It's a very brief bubble.
Remember.
Yeah, 2
Tears in the rain
of it. It's like, what was using the pyramids to store grain or whatever? Like, there's that thing.
Weird.
Oh man, yeah.
Nothing has dented his advantage. It's actually expanded over the last month, and nobody in the GOP seems to have a coherent plan to cut into his support. Quote, based on polling data, Sam Wang of the Princeton Election Consortium wrote this week, Donald Trump is in as strong a position to get his party's nomination as Hillary Clinton in 2016, George W. Bush in 2000, or Al Gore in 2000. Wow. Truth bomb, wrote Politico's Mike Allen, the insider's insider. If you think voters will suddenly get serious and that Trump is a lampshade candidate who will eventually wear out his welcome, you're running out of time to be right. Against the combination of stable poll numbers and sands running through the primary season hourglass, what do Trump skeptics have to offer? One answer comes from Ezra Klein of Vox, who quotes Joe Trippi, Howard Dean's campaign manager in 2004, explaining why his candidate's Trump-like lead evaporated so quickly once the actual voting started. Quote, people get more pragmatic the closer they get to an actual vote.
If only. Let's skip down to there's no credible scenario. That's always a good way to start a sentence in this situation as well.
There is no credible scenario in which a consistent 30% of the vote will deliver the delegates required to be the Republican nominee.
Okay, so he just didn't do his research.
Yeah.
So for Trump to lose, he doesn't actually have to collapse. He just has to fail to expand his support.
Unless no one else gets more than 30.
Yeah. And in the states where candidates are actually campaigning, voters are paying the most attention and the polling screens for likely voters are tightening. He hasn't expanded his support meaningfully since he first climbed into the lead. Foolish pundit that I may be, I don't think he will. Instead, I think that Ted Cruz will continue to consolidate evangelicals as Ben Carson fades, and someone, probably Marco Rubio, will eventually consolidate the moderate conservative vote, which is currently splintered among 5 candidates in New Hampshire, but which, if it were consolidated, would very easily beat Trump's total in that state.
All right, you get the idea. We can scroll down to the next to last paragraph. You can take this home.
Which is not to say that in that scenario, the establishment candidate will win. Trump is a genuinely disruptive force, and if his coalition holds together, it could make genuinely unlikely outcomes. Cruz is the most right-wing nominee since Barry Goldwater, a battle on the convention floor, far more plausible than they would have been without him. But disruption doesn't get you to the 1,236 delegates required for the nomination. Loki does not rule in Asgard, and Donald Trump isn't going to be the Republican nominee.
Yeah.
All right, man. Sure.
Loki won. That's what happened.
And now the next one. I was wrong about
Yeah, exactly. Remember in 2016.
Turns out Loki does rule in Asgard.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's interesting looking back because I remember for a bit of the beginning of that primary process, I remember saying that I thought Cruz would maybe be worse than Trump in a lot of ways. And I think I just underestimated. Like, I think that was true in a certain sense. I think that was true in that he would actually know more of what he was doing. And he's such a insane conservative idiot with really bad views. I thought he would actually be able to accomplish more. Yeah. But I think I just discounted or didn't predict how awful the loss of all institutions would be. Like just the full embarrassment and just the destruction of any legitimacy at all. Like that's just, at least Ted Cruz was a senator. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to say, but like, I think I, for one, miss some modicum of legitimacy and institutional, whatever, like feeling like the presidency was an important thing that an important person needed to have, who at least kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But
those are the days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your job, of course.
Sorry. Good.
I was going to say in 2016, I just want to continue this theme here. Your job in 2016 was not to be the conservative understander of the New York Times. And
that's true. Yeah. No,
it was very much his job, and he's continuing to fail at it all the way through it.
That is a good point. I was thinking of commenting on that too, but I'm always hesitant to try to like get, make excuses or special pleading. But when I think about it, it was his job to be the conservative voice on the paper of record. And for him to be out of touch with conservatism, like it's one thing to be wrong, but it's another to be like, you're wrong because you just are not understanding your own side. That's the only thing you're here for.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So
he understands moderate Catholics, so he's got that covered.
Yeah. That's why I thought, Marco Rubio or somebody like that would pull it out. But
right.
Yeah, fair point. Should we take a break, or you want to?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's take our second break and thank some Hall of Famers. I love it. Let's go to that second batch here. Thank you to Probably a Real Person, Nick Fish, Thomas Wrong, Lydia Wright, Lincoln Park Rules. All right, update that one. Come on. A negative phenomenon. You can find another thing I'm wrong about and Lydia's right about. Just like move on.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So much to choose from.
Email me.
A negative phenomenon. Okay, hold on. Before I continue, I must confess. You got to fight for your right to ex parte. Nice.
That's a good confession.
Yeah. I like that. I think of like a tag team wrestling thing or something. Like tag somebody says something and tag someone and then just like body slam me or something. Jay Sank. Vehicular man's laughter. That's it. That's the joke. Park the car in the North End spot.
Okay.
All right.
Two Taint Todd.
How'd he do, Matt?
I just read it.
Not too bad.
So shouldn't be a criticism.
Emphatically. Yeah.
Does North End need to change at all? How did they say that?
I'm not the expert. Every time I try, I do very bad at it. I hear a lot of it, but I can't do it.
Two Taint Todd goes to the Senate. Oh, God, yeah. David Souther. Today's episode is brought to you by The Letter, Unreadable, Thomas Freeman, Cavalry, Cajun Killa, Fraud Fishy Hates Everything, Chris Simpson, Worst Timeline Ever, Anonymous Aquila, and check out galenacomic.com for a cool web comic. All right, we'll take another break, which you can avoid patreon.com/law, and we'll see you with more dude hatting. More hats to do. All right, Matt, I'm sure he had many a column about why Trump was then not going to win the general, and then probably had to say mea culpa for that, but we've got a lot of history to get through. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to skip on over to January 27th, 2018. What is this title? Holy God.
One of my personal favorites of all time. This one really burned into my brain, as you will see from the title.
The Necessity of Stephen Miller. You guys.
What do those words mean? You can't,
that should not be together.
It's like the circleness of a triangle. You can't, there's nothing, there's no necessity for Stephen Miller.
I don't think his parents believe there's a necessity for Stephen Miller.
Not even Katie Miller thinks there's a necessity of Stephen Miller.
There's nothing. There's no use for Stephen Miller.
That picture. Look at that picture.
Also, and he's
funny.
You get half of him.
Doesn't even think
exactly.
He's in shadow behind
the camera's like, I'd rather focus on this tree. This meaningless tree.
The necessity of this tree.
Yeah. Anything else?
Wow.
Stephen Miller.
Hey, there's a lady.
What an incredible picture.
Well, in what sense does he mean this? Maybe who knows? Maybe it's not all bad. We'll find out.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
After 12 years of failed attempts at immigration reform, the current round of negotiations are turning on a strangely personalized question. When a deal is being made, should Stephen Miller be at the table?
No, saved you 2 boobless hours.
Can we check back to the date? Just remind everybody what date this is, because I don't think we mentioned the date. It is
I did.
January 27th.
So, to remind,
this is a very important time in immigration policy because they're getting up to the point where you're going to be doing family separation. That's all being talked about now and in this period. And also, they're trying to pretend they're going to get some kind of bill passed in Congress. And Stephen Miller completely tanks it just to set this up. He's going to tank it.
My memory is they almost maybe were going to, right? It wasn't
but then they insisted
crazy.
on ridiculous pillars of like removing all family-based immigration and a bunch of other stuff that just wasn't going to happen.
Right. Miller is the White House's point man for immigration policy and for strange and strident encounters with the press, he says parenthetically. He is also an immigration restrictionist. He wants a policy that favors skills-based recruitment over extended families, and he wants a lower immigration rate overall. He says he's concerned about assimilation and crime and native wages. His critics say he just wants to keep America as white as possible, and that by even bringing him to meetings, Trump is making a deal impossible to reach.
His critics are correct.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Always have been.
The critics are right about this much. Having someone like Miller involved is a change from the way prior immigration negotiations have proceeded. Okay.
They have this right,
so
insignificant
feckless.
thing about what they're saying.
Yeah.
In the same way that walking into negotiations with like 2 giant guns pointed at everybody is a change.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're right that's a change.
We don't normally do this.
Okay, that's not important.
As Jim Antle points out in a column for The Week, those negotiations have been consistently bipartisan, bringing together John McCain and Ted Kennedy, Marco Rubio and Chuck Schumer, now Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin. Wow, there's a lot of dead people in that list.
Ted Kennedy died. Oh, is he talking about in the past? Or
Consistently. No, they're talking about the previous deals, the attempts at deals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But, quote, they have mostly taken place between people who are fundamentally in agreement on immigration, who favor both amnesty for illegal immigrants and reforms that would probably increase immigration rates.
I just want to make the point that those are bipartisan agreements. By definition, these are Republicans and Democrats. And Republicans and Democrats historically have actually agreed on immigration for the most part. It's actually somewhat recent that they have not agreed as radically as they don't agree.
Yeah. The problem with this approach is that it doesn't represent the actual divisions in the country. Americans have become pro-immigration since the 1990s, but there is still a consistent pattern when you ask about immigration rates. About a third of Americans favor the current trend, slightly fewer want higher rates, and about a third, like Miller, want immigration reduced. And there are various reasonable grounds.
Yeah, okay. So if
But like reduce, like zero, or like tack it down a tiny bit.
I'm trying to be as charitable as possible with this guy.
When he's saying that a third of people favor reduction like Stephen Miller, I don't know if they understand like
that's what I was going to get to.
Reduction like Stephen Miller is a different thing.
It's one thing to say like maybe the Republican senators and the Democratic senators aren't exactly representing the public. I know there are issues where that happens, certainly, like Israel for sure, as one. But it's another to say like, and because of that, you need someone from this other group of people. So take like, Stephen Miller, he's on like the reduce immigration side.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, but that it could include like reduce it 2% or
abolish.
Do a genocide.
Yeah.
Like you can't really just say that's like one side. We need someone from the negative side, the con side.
We need somebody who will just completely throw a wrench in everything at all times, is what he's saying. Like we'll just destroy any possibility.
And justifying. And again, I think Matt, you're nailing it when it comes to like this is how he's always. This is sane washing. This is very sane washing.
Because we knew who Stephen Miller was in 2018. Like we didn't, like there was no question. He'd spoken.
Oh, he's been very clear about who he is.
His high school teacher.
Yeah, they all knew.
Like there were stories about him at that time. It's not like we have all this knowledge later. So you can skip this paragraph. You get the idea. He's just talking about how like there are people that favor reduction. He's not talking about mass deportation, of course, which is what Miller's talking about. And then the sentence up top here. This is really getting somewhere.
This bigotry, from the point of view of many immigration advocates, justifies excluding real restrictionists from the negotiating table.
Yes.
Well,
all the tables.
Hold on. So he's saying, just to make sure.
It's also clear, yeah.
Oh, it's also clear that many immigration restrictionists are influenced by simple bigotry, with the president's recent excrement-related remarks of a noteworthy. Him saying shithole countries.
Yeah.
Right.
God, I know I made the point recently, but that was a scandal. Him saying shithole countries was a scandal that they kind of had to deny. They denied it, and now that's just out in the
every
open.
day.
It's not only out in the open. It's like if you disagree with that, you're the idiot who's like trying to whitewash what's actually going on with real America. Like that's how far it's changed. So anyway, that bigotry. That is a funny sentence. Okay, let's retake that sentence with that in mind.
Just think what he's saying. Like, listen to what he's saying here.
Yeah. This bigotry, from the point of view of many immigration advocates, justifies excluding real restrictionists from the negotiating table.
All the
if you're
tables.
a racist, I'm pretty sure.
They shouldn't be at any tables.
Yeah.
They should be outside the room, like on a farm somewhere.
This clanhood justifies excluding the people who are like not in favor of reducing penalties for certain crimes. It's like, it does.
Maybe we shouldn't let them set the voting districts either. I don't know.
You're literally not coming to this in good faith because you're a racist, because that's what's driving all of your feelings about this.
This is such a Douthat thing to be like, well, maybe we should make some room for these racists.
You can give them a little more money for border security, some promises about reducing illegal entry, but you can't let them play a large role in shaping policy. The limits of this strategy, though, are evident in the repeated failure of, quote, comprehensive immigration reform over the last decade and more, doomed each time by the gulf between the plans of Republican negotiators and the actual preferences of their voters.
That's not true.
That's kind of what I was referring to. So I wanted to ask you, Matt, what then is the reason the immigration reform kept failing? Because it was long before Trump, it was failing repeatedly, right? Well, why couldn't they come to an agreement?
No, the DREAM Act, anything that looked like what they called amnesty, which was just creating new pathways, because there's always been this hardcore right-wing extremist move. And again, this is not actual regular voters. This is like a very small percentage of people that they could rally at any given time to show up and yell and make calls and cause problems. I've studied immigration policy for a long time, and like these people have always been doing this like through the 90s.
So it's like they've had enough, because of the way our, the Senate and all that bullshit and the filibuster and all that, it's like they've been able to have a veto.
Yes.
Enough support to be a veto all the time, but it's not as though you don't think it actually was a significant portion of the Republican voters?
I truly don't think it was a significant portion, at least at the time, because at the time, if you look at the polling, if you asked people,
true. They'd always be like, why can't they do this? Everybody supports this. They'd say that all the time.
Like if you have somebody, you give me an example of any given number of my clients that are doing fine in this country and don't have a path, most people would support giving them a path. But what they did is they successfully created a third rail that you could not touch of amnesty. That's what they kept calling it. And as you know, I don't like that word very much. But this idea, though, that like you should have given Stephen Miller a seat the whole time. That's what we did. I mean, that's what happened. Is what you're saying. There was a Stephen Miller veto.
Yeah,
Stephen Miller was 12.
Yeah,
like this is
it's like he already did have a seat essentially.
Yes, right.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
From FAIR and the other organizations that were just like hammering this.
That's a good point. Okay, I see. Yeah, so it's the opposite of true. It's like if you want something to actually happen, get him and those people out of the room, and get some reform going that most voters would obviously wouldn't be we wouldn't be huge fans of it, but it would have been better than nothing, I think, probably, especially now.
Forward progress, even if it's small. Yeah. I don't know if there's a deal to be had along those lines. Restrictionists might rebel and Democrats might simply not want a grand bargain with this president. But a bargain that actually reflects the shape of public opinion, not just the elite consensus, can only happen with someone like Stephen Miller at the table.
Sure.
And the bargain he's talking about is basically giving up family green cards. I don't know if he knows that or not, but like not allowing people to bring their parents, not allowing people to bring their children to the United States. That's not a bargain. That's gutting immigration. And again, this is such a Douthat thing to be like, well, there's a compromise here. There's some way we can work this out. But what he's doing here is he's doing it the dishonest thing they were doing at the time, and they're calling it low-skilled immigration. Yeah, okay, maybe your mother is low-skilled, but like that's not really why you're bringing her, is it?
Low-skilled. Yeah,
right, exactly. But I mean, also people who understand immigration policy and the greater picture here know that like our economic future and our demographic future depend on immigration. Like it's really important, and we can't necessarily listen to people who get whipped up by Trump. As also, like a serious policy position. Yeah.
Like why is he going to bat so hard for Stephen Miller specifically? Like I imagine that several of his positions are going to be perfectly represented at that table if he's not there. Like there are people who also believe in restrictionist immigration policy, maybe not with like to the extent of Stephen Miller, but like those things are going to be represented just fine. Why are you going to bat so hard for Stephen Miller specifically? Yep. Why does he deserve a seat at that table?
Yeah. And to Matt's point, he's not just going to be a voice as part of negotiations. He's there to not let negotiations happen.
He's a grenade. Like
exactly. It's like, we got to have this grenade in here. Because it sort of is like some of the people who are anti this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, now we're going to take a totally different direction here. With the redistribution of sex. Here we go.
Oh, can't wait to hear his opinion on this. Oh, boy.
He's making some pretty gross points here.
Is this about robot? I see a robot.
It is in part about
sex robots.
Large-breasted
robot. Just for the
sex robots for everybody.
This is 2018.
Yeah, so. May 2nd, 2018 is what we're looking at.
What's the deal? Well, why don't we have these yet? Or do we? I don't know.
One lesson to be drawn from recent Western history might be this. Sometimes the extremists and radicals and weirdos see the world more clearly than the respectable and moderate and sane.
No.
All kinds of phenomena, starting as far back as the Iraq War and the crisis of the euro, but accelerating in the age of populism, have made more sense in the light of analysis by reactionaries and radicals than as portrayed in the organs of establishment opinion.
Okay, if you're talking about me and you, and you guys, I don't know, maybe we're pretty weird.
Maybe radicals, but where's the reactionaries part? Like I think the radical, like the reactionaries are the ones that are doing the Iraq War, right? I mean,
and he's only going to look at them when it's convenient, when he wants them.
Yeah.
So let's keep going down to there's all this setup here. Basically, he needs a very long setup to get to his point.
Which brings me to the sex robots.
There you go. Okay. That's all we need right there. Yeah.
For a second, I thought that was you joking, like that's where it was going to be.
Like that's literally a sentence from his piece. Like, does Douthat, is he part of that weirdo group that wants sex robots? I don't know.
It's on his mind. Certainly.
All right. Well, actually, first it brings me to the case of Robin Hanson, a George Mason economist, libertarian, and noted brilliant weirdo. Okay, so this Robin Hanson guy is a sex robot guy. Commenting on the recent terrorist violence in Toronto, in which a self-identified incel, that is involuntary celibate, man sought retribution against women in society for denying him the fornication he felt that he deserved, Hanson offered this provocation. If we are concerned about the just distribution of property and money, why do we assume that the desire for some sort of sexual redistribution is inherently ridiculous?
Do you really want an answer to that? Is it? I remember at the time that there were incels talking about this, because I was sort of following these weird upstart movements, talking about how like the government needs to give them sex slaves, basically, because that's the only solution. Which is kind of what it sounds like when you say that.
Money's not sentient, so
right. It doesn't have consent issues.
Yeah,
God,
it can just be passed around. Yeah.
After all, he wrote, quote, one might plausibly argue that those with much less access to sex suffer to a similar degree as those with low income and might similarly hope to gain from organizing around this identity, to lobby for redistribution along this axis, and to at least implicitly threaten violence if their demands are not met.
Why
is he going to come down? Where is he coming down on this argument is what I need to know.
He's coming down on the sex robot side of things. Which is better than the sex slave
the
side
third
of
way.
Yeah, the third way, exactly. But like the fact that he's even quoting this weirdo, like, I don't know. So Slate, of course, reasonably asks, is Robin Hanson the creepiest economist in America? Yes, at that time, I think so.
I don't know. What about the guy who was in the Epstein list? Wasn't he a...
yeah.
Yeah, who am I thinking?
More of a personal creep, I think. This is a professional creep. I don't know.
Well, okay, sure.
They can battle it out.
We'll
put them in the ring together.
It's a crowded field, Matt. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can scroll down a little bit more, but also the idea that like sex, like you said, like it's out there, like money, like it's some sort of objectified thing, rather than like maybe let's talk about how men are treating women and how men are out in the world. Like being unsexy, basically. I don't know. Like, I mean, physically, I just mean
it's just a category error. You can't, you can't talk about it as like a object or a good or a whatever, like in the sense of like goods and services. It's not a textile, it's not like it'd be one thing to be like, okay, in a vacuum, yes, I would wish that everyone got to have the opportunity to do happiness, sex, relationships. But it's another to be like, well, okay, should we redistribute? What does that even mean? Like, there isn't like a quantity of sex that the only thing that means is forcing someone to have sex with someone they don't want to. It's the only thing that can mean.
Well,
and so
unless you genuinely want to engage with sex as a good, in which you seek out legal sex workers.
Oh yeah,
and then you pay them for their service, but they're not wanting to do that. No. They're wanting this for free.
But I still wouldn't consider that a right to sex.
No, I agree. I think the sex worker obviously would have the right to to disengage for whatever reason at any time whatsoever. But like that would be the step that I think that they should take next then. If that's what you're wanting to do, then
it's also, I mean, we don't have time to go into all this into detail, but it's also like, this isn't the problem. Like it's not, they don't just want like sex with someone, like they want the control and status that misogyny and patriarchy offer to them. And
By this, I mean that as offensive or utopian the redistribution of sex might sound, the idea is entirely responsive to the logic of late modern sexual life, and its pursuit would be entirely characteristic.
Redistribution. Yeah, are we taking sex from the sex billionaires and
the 1%?
Like, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, the 1%.
Sexual 1%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because no, I'm not giving any up. No,
I worked for this.
Stupid. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
And its pursuit would be entirely characteristic of a recurring pattern in liberal societies. First...
Yeah, it's like a modest proposal, I guess. He's just like saying, this is what you guys want, you liberal societies. I don't even know. I'm losing the plot here. So is he. But...
First, because like other forms of neoliberal deregulation, the sexual revolution created new winners and losers, new hierarchies to replace the old ones, privileging the beautiful and rich and socially adept in new ways and relegating others to new forms of loneliness and frustration.
Wow.
Incel logic. This is straight up incel logic. Right.
So allowing more freedom sexually means now we have it was better before where it was tightly regulated. Like it was like
where women were property.
Women were forced to have sex with different people, and that way all kinds of. It's weird how that works. Like imagine saying this out loud.
Yeah.
You also don't have to be beautiful and rich to enjoy sex or to have access to sex in his language, right? I mean, I think
you need to not suck as a person, and that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for you.
Reasonably interesting and charming. Yeah. It's not that hard.
New winners and losers. God, is that even... I don't even know if that's true, like in any sense.
It's incel logic, I'm telling you. Like, it's just like he's reading incel boards or something. But we can keep going. But
I think he's just really trying as hard as he can to like link this to other like liberal ideas.
Yeah.
And just trying way too fucking hard.
Yeah. There is an alternative conservative response, of course, namely that our widespread isolation and unhappiness and sterility might be dealt with by reviving or adapting older ideas about the virtues of monogamy and chastity and permanence and the special respect owed to the celibate.
So his answer to redistributing sex is actually just celibacy. Let's just stop.
Let's just make all the incels priests.
Yeah.
That's always worked out.
You're well qualified for the job.
Generally worked out in history.
Yeah.
But this is not the natural response for a society like ours. Instead, we tend to look for fixes that seem to build on previous revolutions rather than reverse them. In the case of sexual liberation and its discontents, that's unlikely to mean the kind of thoroughgoingly utopian reimagining of sexual desire that writers like Srinivasan, gosh, you guys, think we should aspire toward, or anything quite so formal as the pro-redistribution political lobby of Hanson's thought experiment. But I expect the logic of commerce and technology will be consciously harnessed, as already in pornography, to address the unhappiness of incels, be they angry and dangerous or simply depressed and despairing. The left's increasing zeal to transform prostitution into legalized and regulated sex work, in quotes, will have this end implicitly in mind. The libertarian and general male, in parentheses, fascination with virtual reality porn and sex robots will increase as those technologies improve. And at a certain point, without anyone formally debating the idea of a right to sex, right-thinking people will simply come to agree that some such right exists and that it makes sense to look to some combination of changed laws, new technologies, and evolved mores to fulfill it. Whether sex workers and sex robots can actually deliver real fulfillment is another matter, but that they will eventually be asked to do it in service to a redistributive goal that for now still seems creepy or misogynist or radical feels pretty much inevitable.
It won't be in service of that. It will be because people are like, well, we can make the sex robot and people have a right to engage in that if they want. Like this idea where it's going to be like because of some goal to like give sex to these incels. That's not.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Nobody that's stupid. Like, it'll be because some technology company.
Capitalism.
Makes a realistic sex robot.
Yeah.
And then maybe, if depending on where we are in our fucking fascist descent, maybe it'll be legal. We'll see. And then some people will want to do, or will think we have the right to engage in that kind of commerce. And that's why it would be like what are you talking about?
And obviously chastity would be better, of course, as he thinks, right? That's what, I guess that's what he wants you to believe at the end of the day is like, we're going to reach all these extreme solutions that you're not going to like. So we should
instead of being an involuntary celibate, just turn it into the voluntary part.
Just be a voluntary celibate. Yeah, exactly.
We just need, these incels just need a mindset change.
Right. They just need to be a cell.
Kind of, but not,
just cell.
Just go back to cell.
But nothing about the fundamental problem of misogyny or about how these men are approaching women or not approaching women or the messaging they're getting from society. Just this weird column about how it's pretty much inevitable that we're going to have to do all this weird liberal stuff you guys want. It's very Douthat. Anyway, on to the next bad opinion.
We've got a doozy coming for you. I don't know if we should take a break first, maybe take our last break.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay, we got a real doozy coming for you. This headline. It's gonna be fun.
Dootsy.
It's a dootsy. And as a teaser. Okay, so before we get to that final break, thank you to Blah Blah Blah's Law Podcast. E.T. Philly Basement Bar says we should take off and nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Elect Thomas Smith, President, American Honky Tonk Bar Association. Baltic Catay, Philip Kaiser. Charlie Kirk reminds me of the 1980s film Footloose, starring Kevin Bacon, because they were both shot in Utah.
Oh.
Wow.
Ouch.
Corin Land, a string of unpronounceable characters. Malika Chandler, David in Brooklyn, rontothedork.com, Milo Meadsong, I think argues, but it says aruges, argues the plural form of footnote, kind of like attorneys general, should be notes feetsies. That's not even the same.
Notes feetsies?
Notes feetsies,
I'll
okay.
consider it.
It should be
really
like
funny.
notes foot. Yeah. Chris
Notes
Waltrip.
foot.
Big Easy Blasphemy. Orders in the court before a report. Sam Denow, Fred R. Gruthius, Classic Libtard, and Mitchell. All right. Final break, and then we'll get to a real doozy of a headline. Are you ready, everyone? Here we go.
There will be no Trump coup.
Let's note the date.
October 10th.
2020.
Yeah.
Yes. So just
A final pre-election case for understanding the president as a noisy weakling, not a budding autocrat.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dude.
This is a classic.
Oh, dude. What a doozy.
Okay.
Let's get a taste.
Yeah.
3 weeks from now, we will reach an end to speculation about what Donald Trump will do if he faces political defeat, whether he will leave power like a normal president or attempt some wild resistance. Reality will intrude, substantially if not definitively, into the argument over whether the president is a corrupt, incompetent who postures as a strongman on Twitter or a threat to the republic to whom words like authoritarian and even autocrat can be reasonably applied. I've been on the first side of that argument since early in his presidency, and since we're nearing either an ending or some poll-defying reset, let me make the case just one more time. Across the last 4 years, the Trump administration has indeed displayed hallmarks of authoritarianism. It features egregious internal sycophancy and hacks in high positions, abusive presidential rhetoric, and mendacity on an unusual scale. The president's attempts to delegitimize the 2020 vote aren't novel. They're an extension of the way he's talked since his birther days, paranoid and demagogic. These are all very bad things and good reasons to favor his defeat. But it's also important to recognize all the elements of authoritarianism he lacks.
Okay, let's see. What does he lack?
He lacks popularity and political skill, unlike most of the global strongmen who are supposed to be his peers. He lacks power over the media.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know about that one.
Outside of Fox's prime time, he faces an unremittingly hostile press whose major outlets have thrived throughout his presidency.
They got him elected by...
Yeah, I mean, that's such an interesting thing to think about for a while, because I was just about to say, this is so typical Douthat, because him saying, like, look, he doesn't have power over the media, like, he's just outside of Fox, like, these other outlets don't like him, but his power is that they've become irrelevant. Like, yeah, his power over the media isn't that he converted all of mainstream media into Trump worshiping toadies. It's that he made them irrelevant, and many
the people's
forces
consumption
have gone into that.
of media changed.
Yeah, like it just doesn't. They're not powerful anymore.
Right.
If you skip down to if you judge an authoritarian.
Oh, hold on. He is plainly despised by his own military leadership.
Yes.
That was true. And notwithstanding his courtship of Mark Zuckerberg, Silicon Valley is more likely to censor him than to support him in a constitutional crisis.
How does that
and they
work
did.
out?
I mean, they did. They banned him
for a minute,
for a little bit.
Yeah.
and then
they all donated to his
around.
campaign.
Yeah. So it was kind of true. I mean, that was kind of true. They did eventually, much to their own chagrin. They took a long time, but after Jan 6th, they did ban him. But that was, they had to be forced kicking and screaming. And then, they got over that.
Actually, if you go down to his own Supreme Court appointees.
Okay.
His own Supreme Court appointees have already ruled against him. His attempts to turn his voter fraud hype into litigation have been repeatedly defeated in the courts. He's been constantly at war with his own CIA and FBI, and there is no mass movement behind him. Okay. The threat of far-right violence is certainly real, but America's streets belong to the anti-Trump left.
That's right. Look out. Those leftists are going to swarm the Capitol any day now.
It's just like because George Floyd protests and stuff happened that year.
I guess this was like peak that.
Yeah.
But this is the crucial miss that, Matt, you keep talking about, which is, and to try to put a little bit of a different phrasing on it, he keeps, and we've seen this in other things we've read from Douthat about this. He constantly talks about, like, is Trump authoritarian or not? Well, here's what he's missing. And the things he's referencing are just like the system barely hanging on.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really, it's not a good way to look at it. Like, oh, no, he's not an authoritarian. I mean, some of the Supreme Court justices sometimes vote against him. It's like, yeah, okay, I guess, but like it totally equivalent way to look at it, which would be more true, would be like, here's the remaining threads that our nation is holding on by. And if they fall, then we have an authoritarian, like it's just such a more accurate way to look at what's happening. It's not that the things he's saying are like untrue per se, but it's the presentation of like you say, Matt, of like constantly trying to make it into like, nah, he's not there. Look, there's a thread.
Right. We don't live in a fascist state yet.
Yeah.
Over and over again. When we read the one where he explained why he wasn't a fascist, and like he made a couple of points that made some sense at the time, but like again, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how fascism works and how it grows, more to the point, because this is all stuff that we all saw potentially coming in a second Trump term, right? And he's making it seem like this is never going to happen.
Well, I remember we talked about also the Jamel Bowie piece when he like explicitly called out Trump is an authoritarian, and I was trying to like find that exact one to kind of see the timing between these two, like if it's a battle like within the Gray Lady kind of thing. The only one I could find just really
those
quickly
were both
was
from the same time. Those are both from 2016 when we did
okay. This is
later.
This is a February 21st, 2020 article that Jamel Bowie did, kind of talking about authoritarianism. But just kind of
and again, I remember like we went through that, and again, the things he was saying were mostly technically correct, and in the end, he did say, yeah, he's an aspiring authoritarian, but it's like it's missing, and that was certainly more forgivable back then, like before he was even in office. I think that wasn't it like right when he was, or yeah, it's 20. It might have been right.
I can't remember the exact timing.
Yeah, but like at this point in 2020, especially when it's paired with the headline like "There's not going to be a Trump coup."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy! All right, let's see how he gets there.
And once again, the real problem is going to be the left.
Oh, okay.
So if you judge an authoritarian by institutional influence, Trump falls absurdly short. And the same goes for judging his power grabs. Yes, he has successfully violated post-Watergate norms in the service of self-protection and his pocketbook, but pre-Watergate presidents were not autocrats. And in terms of seizing power over policy, he has been less imperial than either George W. Bush or Barack Obama.
That's just not true. None of that is true. I mean, honestly. And again, it's easy in hindsight because we know what he's done since then too, but he was doing plenty of this in the first term of seizing policy and like really twisting it to his needs. And again, maybe it's because I'm so attuned to immigration policy and because the things he was doing even then were just so out of line. But yeah, you can see where he's going with this.
Well, and also this idea like the post-Watergate norms, he's violated those, but those norms didn't exist before Watergate and presidents weren't autocrats then. Okay, well, we're not talking about them. Like
also the service of self-protection and his pocketbook, that is new. Like protecting the way he was openly representing his own economic interests, the way he's doing it now, certainly as president, were new. That's huge. He just writes the stuff off. It's always hand-waving with him.
Mm-hmm. There is still no Trumpian equivalent of Bush's anti-terror and enhanced interrogation innovations or Obama's immigration gambit and unconstitutional Libyan war.
Wow, remember the unconstitutional Libyan war? That was good times.
Trump's worst human rights violation, the separation of migrants from their children, was withdrawn under public outcry.
So that was fine.
Yeah. Fixed.
Yeah, nobody got hurt. Everything's okay.
Wow. His biggest defiance of Congress involved some money for a still unfinished border wall. And when the coronavirus handed him a once-in-a-century excuse to seize new powers, he retreated. Oh, Ross, my guy.
Typo.
Retreating is what he said. Yeah. He retreated to a cranky libertarianism instead. All this context.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I have to dispute this. I mean, like the way he's talking about, he definitely used coronavirus to seize power in all kinds of ways, like to do all kinds of emergency stuff, including at the border, and to redistribute money and resources around the country to his favored people. But yeah, anyway, we can skip down to there are many answers because this is where, again, you have to blame the left. Why we can't be too quick to blame Donald Trump for anything.
There are many answers, but I'll just offer one. With American liberalism poised to retake presidential power, it needs clarity about its own position. Liberalism lost in 2016 out of a mix of accident and hubris, and many liberals have spent the last 4 years persuading themselves that their position might soon be as beleaguered as the opposition under Putin or German liberals late in Weimar. But in reality, liberalism under Trump has become a more dominant force in our society, with a zealous progressive vanguard and a monopoly in the commanding heights of culture. Its return to power in Washington won't be the salvation of American pluralism. It will be the unification of cultural and political power under a single banner.
Jesus. If only.
Wielding that power in a way that doesn't just seed another backlash requires both vision and restraint, and seeing its current enemy clearly as a feckless tribune for the discontented rather than an autocratic menace is essential to the wisdom that a Biden presidency needs.
That's
Thanks,
meaningless.
Russ.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh boy, we are way over time. Well, that sucked. What's the next one?
So much more. Well, so there's another one that called how Trump made the fantasy real that he wrote 3 days after January 6th. And I'll just read the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, it's really not worth reading in full. But
well, we had before that even, because I love the sequence. There will be no Trump coup. And then the next one you picked, December. Why do so many Americans think the election was stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So weird. It's almost like there's a budding,
we can bring that up.
Realism movement that is going to be the very coup that he said won't happen.
Right.
This one is not worth reading that much of the why people believe it was stolen. But again, it is fundamentally misunderstanding how they're lying to their advantage and why. He's making it out to be like, well, we're all getting more conspiratorial. Right.
Wow.
Not like specifically this is being fomented by specifically this authoritarian guy.
For this purpose. Right. And also that they're lying to you on purpose. Like he's just like, basically, we all understand it wasn't actually stolen. Okay, sure. You understand that, Ross.
Ooh, wow. Look at this last paragraph, though. He nailed one here. I don't know if it's a joke or what. That's the most important argument for the next 4 years, and one I'll be making firmly, passionately, right up until the Republican Party nominates Trump again in 2024.
Well, he learned.
I bet he said that as a joke, but man, yeah.
Yeah. So you can pull up very quickly the next one I just sent you.
Okay. I would like to retract my previous there wasn't a coup.
How Trump made the fantasy real. The Capitol Hill riot tore the veil between the right's dream world and reality. I will be honest and say that I don't know exactly how to interpret the surreal events that unfolded this week in Washington, D.C., when a mob inflamed by online memes and presidential fantasies rampaged through the halls of the U.S. Capitol.
Skip down to all I will say for
certain. I agree that
you
do not know how to interpret that.
Yes, you still won't.
All I will say for certain, cocking my own head back and forth, is that when I predicted 3 months ago that there would be no Trump coup, I should have showed more imagination.
More imagination.
He said that exact same thing, didn't he? Like about Trump.
About Trump himself, yeah.
Yeah,
and the movement, yeah. But yeah, so this is just him backtracking.
But it was not a coup by any traditional definition of the term.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he argues this for a while. There's another whole column about why it wasn't actually a coup, and it's fine.
Sorry, this
it's
is just
depressing.
Wow. All right, let's go to why Nikki Haley could be the most dangerous president.
January 20th, 2024.
Check out the date on that. Yeah, January 20th, exactly. Yep.
A Haley presidency could be more dangerous than a second Trump term. What?
Because she might start some wars, folks.
Sure, yeah.
But out of all the candidates, Haley's vision still reminds me the most of George W. Bush's worldview, which at a time of seemingly unconstrained power set us on the path to our era of crisis and constraint. Having seen that vision undermine a strong America, I do not trust it to rescue a weakened America. And if what failed us once should fail again, the price could be more terrible and the collapse much more complete.
We already know what it was like when Trump was president. Like he was same worldview. Same America dominating the world.
I can't imagine. Now, I have tried to be charitable to Douthat. I cannot imagine. And there's nowhere anyone who knows anything should have or would have said anything could be worse than a second Trump presidency.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the worst. That was always going to be the worst. It was catastrophically bad. There's nothing would be worse than that. I can't believe
especially
you'd have that take in 2024.
And like when he recognized in that previous piece too about the January 6th riot and like what happened there, like you have a rabid group of people who like view him as their messiah basically.
Yeah.
Why in the world do you think that Nikki Haley, who doesn't have that, would be more dangerous than Trump, who does have that? And we have seen literally what happens when he gets in power.
Regardless of what you think their policy might be, the endorsement that was like the reelection of Trump, the endorsement of all his bullshit, of the legitimization of January 6th. I mean the mass pardon. I mean I give him a lot more leeway than I know Matt does, but that's inexcusable. I mean that's so terrible.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And if you time travel to 2024, you will find me and anyone else who knows anything saying there's nothing fucking worse than reelecting this guy. Like we had a chance. If we could have moved on somehow as a country, if we could have had a Kamala victory or whatever, there's a real chance to make progress in putting that in our review or doubling down and just completely ruining everything and making the brief 4 years a temporary blip.
Yeah.
And that's where we are, on our way to fascism. So
I also don't remember a time when Nikki Haley was going to win, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we're skipping over. I just want to mention an honorary mention. We'll link to it because we don't have time. But he wrote a column 3 days after Renee Good was shot in the streets of Minneapolis about how, we can reach some sort of compromise with ICE. It's going to be fine. He doesn't use Renee Good's name at all in the column, which I thought was so offensive. But that more than speaks for itself. All right. So this is his swan song here. Yeah. The headline really says it all. This is a summary of his entire body of work in this headline.
Yeah, it really is.
Why do you have a job, Douthat? Like,
25
Douthat.
high-paid
for an
writers.
opinion writer, you don't really have any opinions.
Why don't
apparently.
you read it for the listeners?
Who are the good guys and the bad guys? I'm no longer sure.
How could we tell,
Okay.
folks?
What does he mean by that? What is he talking about? Oh, boy.
When I joined this newspaper as a columnist 17 years ago, Barack Obama was still enjoying the flush of first-term popularity. In both political and cultural circles, there was vaulting confidence that his fusion of social liberalism and technocratic ambition had swept away the conservative era in American politics. The columnist job contains multitudes, but it's useful to have a primary antagonist, a specific worldview that you think needs to be challenged and critiqued. For me, for many years, that worldview was the elite consensus of the early Obama era, a mostly left-of-center perspective that also belonged to Silicon Valley moguls, centrist politicians in the style of Michael Bloomberg, and portions of the Republican consultant class. It was a perspective that was morally permissive and self-consciously cosmopolitan, uniting multilateralism and hawkishness in foreign policy, and optimistic that a meritocratic elite could guide a globalizing world toward prosperity and harmony. In part, I opposed this worldview on substantive grounds. I was religious where it was largely secular. I was pro-life where it was pro-choice. I had doubts about its approach to issues as various as mass immigration, marijuana legalization, and the Middle East. In part, I opposed it on political grounds. A lot of Republicans were convinced that the GOP needed to adapt to the consensus to survive, effectively becoming a second culturally liberal party, but with free market vibes, and I was certain that was wrong.
This is what you're wasting your last column on? Like, what? Okay.
And finally, I critiqued the elite consensus because it desperately needed elite critics, and lacking them, it was constantly tempted into overreach.
Okay, dude.
Even when it started out in a reasonable place, it didn't know when to stop, and there was too much about human nature that it didn't seem to know.
So this would be a great place to transition from, maybe the real enemy was fascism.
That was all meaningless. Like
Yes.
how wrong I was.
How wrong
Yeah.
I was, upon reflection of my many years here. Across the last decade in Western politics, this elite consensus came to grief for some of the reasons that I expected. It failed to anticipate the downsides of expert-driven policies. It was unprepared for the darker effects of technological change. It took social liberalism so far that it left vulnerable people adrift or abandoned to their vices. And it blundered in foreign policy because it didn't expect the non-Western world to push back so hard against its plans.
Not really
What does
sure
it even
that
mean?
means. Yeah, I'm with
It
you.
took social liberalism so far that left vulnerable people adrift or abandoned to their vices. Okay.
Is that like harm reduction and stuff? Like he just doesn't like
that's
needle
what
exchange
caused
programs?
the epidemic.
The opioid epidemic in the early 2000s, yes.
Nothing to do with
deregulation,
capitalism or anything
corporate
like
greed.
that. So
Sure.
so that's the problem. It's like he's got this one consensus, and then but then it's too liberal. It took social liberalism too far.
Have you considered this meaningless stuff that I don't really understand myself?
Yeah.
But watching this crisis unfold, I find that I've lost my sense of which contemporary worldview is most in need of criticism or opposition, where the good guys and bad guys are.
I don't know. Who's the good guy and who's the bad guy?
Each major faction seems potentially dangerous, tempted toward the dark side in some unique way, contested or cross-pressured to a degree that makes me uncertain where the side of the angels really lies.
This is so Bari Weiss coded. This is him giving his final interview for the Bari Weiss job, even though he already had it. But like,
folks, are the angels with ICE or the people that don't like ICE?
Guys, they both seem potentially dangerous. There's the one that controls literally every fucking thing in the country, and then there's the other one that is on Blue Sky, and they both seem potentially dangerous. Like, fuck
I think it's also just like such a childish perspective on the world. Like we're talking about human beings, not angels. We're talking about politicians, not angels. Like be a real person, Ross. Be an adult. You're older than me. Be better than that.
That's so Bari Weiss.
Black hat, white hat.
How's to know? I just don't know.
Right.
Which side is it? So, all right.
Yeah,
Where do you want to go after
he's
that?
just noticing that Trump's second term has been pretty bad, so we got a paragraph about that. Okay, great.
Great.
Keep going.
Right.
Yeah. For many liberal readers, these sins make populism the maximum danger, the singular emergency. But as Trumpism has flailed and failed, it hasn't consolidated the kind of authoritarian power anticipated by its most alarmed opponents.
By its
Still
most
fucking
alarmed
doing
opponents.
this, dude?
Come on. Okay, yes, the people that said we'd all be in camps by now were wrong. Okay, I got you there.
Cool. Has flailed and failed.
Continuing on in this paragraph, at the moment, Trump 2.0 has no great popularity.
Oh my God.
No legislative capacity.
Where have I seen this before?
No policy legacy that a Democratic successor can't easily roll back.
Can't easily roll back.
Easy.
Tell that.
Should be easy. They just got the entire Supreme Court and a billion federal judges. We have literally Judge fucking asshole who swore in.
Emile Beauvais.
Yeah, we have Judge Beauvais. Yeah, it should be easy to roll back.
And
I mean, it'd be a cinch.
USAID, and this is going to be an upcoming book club selection about how this happened, but USAID is gone. We got people down
we
the world.
Can resurrect all those dead
We've
kids,
replaced the immigration establishment with like a completely new radical immigration state.
Your average Democrat is a level 3 necromancer, so it's not hard to just reanimate all the skeletons of the people that they killed.
Also, the president himself might still be a dangerous figure. There might be darker forces waiting in the wings.
We're still doing this. Okay, Matt. I you know what?
You've come to the side.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. I see why this really does recast a lot of that in a worse light. We're like, okay, you can be forgiven for this take at this time somewhat, and I stand by that. But you're still doing it. You're still this is the same language, man. The same exact. It's like nothing has changed.
Breaking. I still don't get it.
But I don't think that justifies making anti-populism the measure of all things.
What does that even mean?
I'm not even anti-populist. Like, populism can't be good.
Right.
You've found a division that isn't relevant. Like,
yeah, that has nothing to do with what people have a problem with Trump for.
Yeah, it just shows how fucking out of touch he is. It's like, this isn't like two sides of an intellectual difference on populism. I mean, there's elements of that going on, but like the important part is the dead people, you know, like come on. Like it's so stupid. It's so obtuse.
Do you even read the New York Times, Ross? I really have to wonder.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. You know, he's complaining about the Biden era, more meritocratic hubris. You know, somehow that's as bad. Replacing experts with interest groups, maxing out on social liberals. Let me keep going. It just keeps going and going, complaining about
we got to read this paragraph.
Sure,
this one, at least this one right after that, especially
when you consider the alternatives. First, there is what remains of the center-left establishment, some of whose vices look less serious in light of Trumpism. Self-satisfied technocrats might be preferable to self-dealing hatchet men.
Might be, by the way. Self-satisfied technocrats. Yeah, they're technocrats. They actually know how to do stuff, and they're not, evil, but they're a little smug, and so they might be preferable to self-dealing hatchet men.
Self-dealing hatchet men. You're talking open, naked corruption is what you're talking about.
They might be preferable
to people making money off the government. Okay.
But that next sentence, too.
But that remains culpable for the mistakes that led to populism's rise and at sea amid changed political conditions, right?
See, when you're evaluating the sides, you have one side that's the horrible, horrible stuff. And then you have the other side that, they're the reason the one side is doing the horrible, horrible
stuff. They're kind of snooty sometimes.
So how do you evaluate between those two things? Like, what are you talking about?
The right is just full of little babies that have no agency at all. They only do what in response to what happens to them because they're little babies.
Which is fine.
Oh, boy.
The only, yes. If you don't want to join the populist backlash.
But if you don't want to join the populist backlash, then the only alternative to propping up the liberal establishment is putting the West in the hands of wokeness 2.0, Hassan Piker thought, and Democratic Socialists of America energy. Social progressivism with socialist characteristics.
I think he's very clever with this.
How horrible that would be.
Yeah.
And I don't want to describe this movement. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
He's describing online stuff, right? And like a minority of everything. Yeah.
I don't want to describe this movement as categorically worse than its establishment opponents, and sometimes the left grasps things the center misses.
Is that the only reason you don't want to describe the left as worse? Okay, all right.
But I lived through the years of peak woke, and it was a McCarthyite experience.
He survived. He's one of the survivors of peak woke, by the way. His family didn't make it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? McCarthyite experience?
I know.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, people being dragged away.
Oh, yeah, he was blacklisted from, checks notes, the exact same job he has right now.
Yep.
What are you,
and then got a promotion.
To get more money.
Yeah, got more money.
What are you talking about? God.
I lived with the blue state governance that doctrinaire progressivism encouraged, and it yielded civic and educational collapse.
This is my favorite.
Come
He's talking
on.
about Connecticut, which
Yeah,
I
he's
recently
talking about COVID policies.
Yeah,
We get it.
Civic
It
and
wasn't
educational
good that
collapse.
kids had to stay home.
Right.
That did produce bad outcomes. That's
But-
not all states had to do that, by the way. There's
Collapse?
not yeah.
Collapse? Like,
And I would prefer not to give the far left the power to regulate and
not
prosecute and rewrite the federal budget.
let's let Trump
That
do
was
it.
pretty much mainstream. The only thing he could be talking about in terms of educational collapse is the pretty bad numbers as a result of COVID. Like that, they are really bad. Like education numbers, it's not good what happened to the kids who were in a critical age during COVID.
Sure.
But that wasn't because of Hassan Piker. That wasn't like the socialist thought, it's like that. A lot of that happened under Trump, by the way, and also happened in red states. And maybe some red states might have tried to put people back in classrooms slightly earlier. I'm not even sure that's true. Like it's also, didn't it vary by like school district? I don't know. Who knows? But to say that that's like entirely the fault of the far left, that like minimal difference in how education might have, in how school might have been handled toward the end of COVID or like the middle of COVID or whatever, to say that that's so, not only so terrible, but also so attributable to like the left is just silly. Like it's fucking stupid. And it's not relevant to today.
He also might be talking about colleges and universities and sort of like the collapse of institutions.
I don't think so. Blue state governance? What do you think? What's
potentially. I don't know.
That like the blue states are running
educational collapse.
The culture. He just hates that. And also the idea that the far left would do worse with the budget than Trump did for regular people. Like I'd much rather put it in the hands of Hassan Piker than I mean, come on.
Yeah, Trump's doing a great job right now
with the budget and letting Elon Musk run it. Yeah.
How are gas prices? How's anything finance economics wise?
I'm just gonna go buy a house right now. They're so affordable. Give me a minute. Then finally, all of these political forces, the unpopular populace, the flailing establishment, the rising left, are displaying their vices in the shadow of the artificial intelligence revolution, which is creating new zones of power in which the friend-enemy distinction is almost impossible for me to parse. Anthropic or OpenAI, the Pentagon or the Frontier Labs, the weird accelerationists or the even weirder doomers, the China hawks or the data center skeptics, the people who think AI is a normal technology and thus might underestimate its dangers, or the people who think they're making a machine god and thus might end up in its thrall.
Those are all kinds of people. Sure.
Yeah.
Do we have to pick?
Man.
Do I have to choose?
Those are all things.
There are other kinds of people too, of which I am some of them. Yeah.
But who's bad and who's good, Matt? How
could we possibly know?
The friends who are the enemies.
Who are the angels?
Which makes
let's go to which makes
Bari Weiss.
Which makes this a very important time for the kind of journalism that asks a lot of questions before it leaps to opinionated claims.
It's a time, you know what we need? We need to be just asking questions.
Right.
No one's ever tried that. Oh my God.
That's why I'm going to visit Bari Weiss. Gonna go live
for the
there.
past 2 years, I've been fortunate.
Bari Weiss might have written this, like honestly.
Yeah. For the past 2 years, I've been fortunate that the Times has let me pursue that kind of questioning as a podcast host.
But now I get to do it with more money. So
I've had everybody on my podcast from, extreme Christian nationalists to like moderate Christian nationalists, and like women who don't like feminism and women who hate feminism.
Yeah.
So, the whole range.
And this month, I accepted a position with CBS News' 60 Minutes, where the asking of questions will be central to my professional work.
Hey, why start now?
That means that this is my last column for the Times, in this season at least. Once I would have imagined a valedictory essay offering some stirring brief for religious conservatism, some last foray into the territory where I was most likely to be in disagreement with my readers, but I don't think that quite fits the moment.
I also figured out nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to read it.
Instead, I'll express, along with incalculable gratitude to the Times itself, my colleagues and editors, a hope that I have contributed illumination. I hope my writing has added something to your understanding of America's complexity,
sure has it.
The world's uncertain future, and the strangeness of our times. I hope that I make that kind of contribution at 60 Minutes. I hope the Times can continue to illuminate the world as only a great newspaper can. And wherever I'm working, whatever you're reading, we'll all be going into the future together and trusting, like many Americans before us, that there's an angel giving directions somewhere in the storm.
Sure, man.
If only I knew what the good guys looked like.
Imagine that being your going out piece. Like, there are a lot worse people who could probably write something where I'd be like, oh, okay, you know, for he's a jolly good fella, you know, like to have a tenure that long and this is the best you could do is just like so bad. You're at such an advantage rhetorically when you're like, here's my swan song, my retirement. I'm going out. Let me reflect. And this is what he could do.
Yeah.
Who's to say what's good? Who's to say what's bad? No idea. AI, anti-AI.
This is one of the top 25 highest paid writers in the United States, folks. And if his going out piece had just been, you know, we should all be a little more Catholic, whatever, we wouldn't be reading it.
Yeah, I know. That would have been better.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And he could have still talked about angels.
Yeah, that's true.
This is just...
Yeah.
This is... it's a perfect end to the meaninglessness of Douthat's tenure. I mean, this is just... nothing. Truly, it's nothing.
I hope that I have contributed illumination. No.
And it's funny because in 60 Minutes, he doesn't get to be, well, I don't think, unless he's doing the Andy Rooney segment. Unless he's doing that segment, he's not going to be an opinion guy. You know, like, you just do interviews and
he's going to have to do journalism.
You know,
Bari Weiss journalism, but
I wonder if he'll even like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Boy, well, that sucked. And it was fully Bari Weiss coded. I mean, Jesus. That couldn't be more. You know, in the end, he honestly, he's maybe more of a bullshitter than I admitted previously. I just think he's rhetorically positioning himself to maximally cash in on the stupid Bari Weiss consensus that currently exists at CBS and Fox and 60 Minutes. It's worthless. So there you go. That's the Douthat for you.
Yep.
Let's retire our dude hats, everyone. All right. Thanks, Matt, for duding your hat forever, like reading that much pointless stuff.
We are
incredible.
And Lydia as well.
Putting a hat on a dude hat. Yeah.
We'll see you Friday for some real law coverage and back to OA's norm. But you know, we had to salute the meaninglessness that was Ross Douthat.
Yep.
Had to toot our own horn. Could not pass it up.
This has been Opening Arguments, produced by Thomas and Lydia Smith, with editing help from Peter Baird. The intro is by Thomas Smith. This outro is by Matt Cameron. Support the show at patreon.com/law. Contact us through Patreon or openarguments@gmail.com. Make sure to follow our Blue Sky @OpenArgs. But most of all, please share the show. Thanks for listening.